Hey, it's Nick Fogelson from Northwest Endometriosis and Pelvic Surgery, Portland, Oregon. So, hysterectomy question number 4, I get a lot, is does a hysterectomy cause pelvic organ prolapse? And it's kind of a complex question. So, first of all, what's pelvic organ prolapse? That's where the vagina or bladder or rectum are kind of falling out a little bit. It's caused by a lack of pelvic support, usually because of damage caused by childbirth in combination with aging. And so the question is does hysterectomy cause that? And the answer is, well, sort of. What holds the vagina up is 3 different things. There's connections down at the opening of the vagina. There's connections between the vagina and the pelvis all the way on the side. And there's connections up at the top. We call those levels 1, 2, and 3 support. When you do a hysterectomy, you partially disrupt the level 1 support, which is the upper support. And you do this because the uterosacral ligaments hold up the vagina, and then also the cardinal ligaments hold up the vagina. If you do a hysterectomy correctly, you will preserve the uterosacral ligament, but the cardinal ligament, which is the uterine artery and some of the connective tissue, does get severed, so that's part of what's holding things up. So you do lose a little bit of that support. But if you place some appropriate sutures near the top of the vagina to kind of cinch up the uterosacral ligaments a little, usually that's going to be minimized to become not much of an issue. So, like, technically, does it affect pelvic support? A little bit. Does it affect it a lot? No, probably not. The thing that is the most important is that prolapse is caused by having children, quite a few children. Like, people that haven't had children generally don't develop prolapse unless they have connective tissue issues like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. But if people have had 3 or 4 children, usually at some point in their life they're going to have some prolapse whether they have a hysterectomy or not. So, I mean, hysterectomy is a small contributor, but usually people that are going to have prolapse are kind of destined to have prolapse anyway, with or without the hysterectomy. There are also some cases where people have very large uteruses and they have a lot of prolapse, but the prolapse isn't apparent because the large uterus just keeps anything falling out, because it's like a cork at the top of a bottle. And so when you take the uterus out, now things can really fall out. Well, those people usually have had lots and lots of children, and they have a major prolapse issue, and they just happen to have the uterus kind of jamming it from coming out. And those people probably will go on to need a prolapse surgery. I think what's most important is that you always want to look at what are the known positives of doing anything instead of the unknown negatives. Like, if there is a good reason to do a hysterectomy, you shouldn't not do it because of concerns for prolapse. It's not going to have a big impact on prolapse. And if somehow it does, or if somehow you do develop prolapse later in your life, well, there's good things that you can do to address that. You shouldn't avoid having something that might really help you. If you and your doctor, or me if I'm your doctor, if we think that doing a hysterectomy is really going to help you, I wouldn't not do that because of prolapse concerns. I would do it if we think it's going to help you with the problems you're having. And if there are significant prolapse issues, maybe 20 years later, well, that can be dealt with at that time. But I wouldn't not do a hysterectomy for that reason. So that's the answer, is small effect on prolapse, maybe, but don't let the tail wag the dog. Like, we should, if a hysterectomy is appropriate, it's appropriate. If we can help in the future, let us know. New patients at nwendometriosis.com. You can email or call us 503-715-1377. Thanks.